Welcome to my channel, Valuable Rare Coin, where small US coins hold big value. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and discover hidden treasures in your change. Let's dive in. First, we're talking about the 1942 Mercury dime, officially known as the Winged Liberty Head dime. This isn't just any 10-cent coin. This is a legendary piece of numismatic beauty that, under the right conditions, can be worth an absolute fortune. So listen very carefully, because this video could lead you straight to a treasure hiding in your very own collection. The Mercury dime is one of the most artistically admired coins ever minted by the United States. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman and minted from 1916 to 1945, it features a stunning image of liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. The reverse displays a Roman fasces and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. These details aren't just decorative, they're deeply symbolic of American ideals during a time of global unrest. And in 1942, with the world at war, this dime carried more meaning than ever. But what makes the 1942 Mercury dime so incredibly valuable today isn't just its design or its silver content, it's the rare and fascinating errors that make certain examples true treasures for collectors. Among the most famous and sought-after varieties of the 1942 Mercury dime is the legendary 1942-1 overdate error. This dramatic mistake occurred when a die that had been engraved with the 1942 date was mistakenly struck over a die previously dated 1941. The result? A visible 1 beneath the 2 in the date, and when magnified, the doubling becomes unmistakable. This overdate error is not a subtle variety. It's bold, clear, and extremely collectible. Most collectors dream of finding this error because it's one of the most well-known and valuable varieties in all of Mercury dime history. To identify this rare variety, look closely at the date under strong magnification. You'll see the top of the 1 peeking out from beneath the 2, especially on well-preserved specimens. This error exists for both the Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark coins, but the Denver version is considered even rarer and more valuable. These overdate errors were only discovered years after release, which means many may still be out there in coin collections, drawers, or family heirlooms, quietly waiting to be found by a sharp-eyed collector like you. Aside from the overdate error, high-grade 1942 Mercury dimes are also in hot demand. Coins that have been graded mint state 66, 67, or even 68 by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC are extremely desirable, especially those with full bands on the reverse. Full bands refer to the horizontal lines across the fasces on the reverse of the coin. When these lines are fully struck and uninterrupted, the coin is said to have full bands, which means it was struck with fresh dies and sharp precision. Full bands examples are much harder to find, and they command significantly higher prices in the collector's market. Now let's talk about recent auction results and get ready to be amazed. At a prestigious coin auction, an exceptional 1942-1 Mercury dime in mint state condition, with bold overdate markings and stunning full bands on the reverse, came up for bidding. It had been expertly preserved, certified by PCGS, and showcased incredible luster and detail. The competition among bidders was fierce, as everyone recognized the rarity and beauty of this coin. And when the final gavel struck, the price realized was an astonishing $170,000. Yes, $170,000 for a single Mercury dime, all because of its rare overdate error and pristine condition. So now, the big question: could you be holding one of these valuable treasures? It's time to check your coin collections, your family heirlooms, and even those old jars of silver change. Take a close look at your 1942 Mercury dimes, especially around the date. If you spot any unusual doubling or that hidden 1 beneath the 2, you may have something incredibly special on your hands. And don't forget to examine the reverse for those full bands. They can make a huge difference in value even without the overdate error. Second rare coin is going to take you on an exciting journey into the world of one of America's most underappreciated yet incredibly valuable coins, the United States 1 dime coin from 1977. This little 10-cent piece, often overlooked by millions of people every single day, holds a secret power for those who know where to look. With the right combination of minting errors, pristine condition, and historic context, the 1977 dime can be worth a small fortune, and you might even have one hiding right now in your collection, in your change jar, or tucked away in an old wallet. So listen closely and enjoy this video, because what we're about to reveal could change the way you see this tiny silver-colored coin forever. The 1977 Roosevelt dime was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was producing high quantities of circulating coins. These dimes were made of a copper-nickel clad composition, not silver, and at first glance, they seem ordinary. But hidden within these everyday coins are ultra-rare varieties and extremely desirable errors that serious collectors are actively hunting for. The Roosevelt dime has always had a special place in U.S. history, but coins from 1977 with rare mistakes and high-quality strikes have reached a level of demand that's absolutely electrifying among coin dealers and auction houses alike. Let's start with one of the most eye-catching features you should look for: mint errors. Yes, these rare mistakes are what turn a simple 10-cent coin into a treasure worth thousands. One of the most incredible and valuable errors found on the 1977 dime is the double die obverse. This error happens when the die that strikes the coin shifts slightly between impressions, causing doubling on the letters or the date. If you look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, or the numbers 1977 and notice a shadow-like doubling, you could be holding a jackpot in your hand. This error is not only easy to identify with a magnifying glass, but also extremely rare, and that's what makes it so desirable to collectors who want to own a unique piece of minting history. Another striking error found on some 1977 dimes is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't perfectly aligned during the minting process, resulting in part of the design being shifted or cut off. An off-center strike of 40% or more, especially when the full date is still visible, makes the coin exceptionally rare and visually dramatic. Collectors go crazy for these errors because no two off-center strikes are exactly alike. Each one is a one-of-a-kind creation from the U.S. Mint. Combine that with sharp details and no post-mint damage, and your dime instantly jumps in value. Let's not forget about clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is literally missing due to a cutting mistake during minting. These clipped coins from 1977 are rare and easy to spot, making them very attractive to both new and experienced collectors. Another thing to watch for is a die clash error, which occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a coin planchet between them, creating ghost-like impressions from the opposite side on each face of the coin. These errors are stunning to look at, and even more stunning when you see how much collectors are willing to pay for them. Now we move on to the importance of coin condition, a detail that can multiply the value of your 1977 dime exponentially. A coin that's been preserved in mint state condition with full luster, sharp strike, and no scratches or wear is already rare. But if that same coin also displays the full bands on the torch on the reverse, meaning those horizontal lines are fully separated and unbroken, then it enters a whole new category of value. Full bands are a major indicator of strike quality, and for the 1977 dime, they are extremely tough to find. That's exactly why collectors will pay top dollar for one certified in MS67 or higher with full bands. It's the perfect storm of rarity and condition. To show you just how much collectors value the 1977 Roosevelt dime when all these rare features come together, let's talk about one of the most thrilling recent auction results. A top-graded example of this coin, featuring a double die obverse, full bands, and brilliant mint state luster, went up for bidding at a major numismatic event. Collectors from across the country lined up to take their shot, knowing just how difficult it is to find a specimen like this. After a fierce round of competitive bidding, the coin sold for an absolutely stunning amount, a grand total of $80,000. Yes, that's right, $80,000 for a 1977 dime. Thanks to its rarity, condition, and powerful collector demand. Now it's your turn. Could you be sitting on one of these incredibly valuable coins without knowing it? Take a moment to examine your 1977 dimes, grab a magnifying glass, check the date, Inspect the inscriptions, look for signs of doubling or clipping, and don't forget to closely examine the bands on the torch. The next life-changing discovery could be in your hands right now, waiting to be seen, appreciated, and possibly sent off for professional grading. Third expensive coin, we're talking about the United States one-dime coin from the year 1994 with the P mint mark, struck in Philadelphia. At first glance, this dime looks like any other, small, silver-colored, lightweight, but don't let its ordinary appearance fool you. Under the right conditions and with the right features, this 1994 P dime can be worth an incredible amount of money and is already turning heads in the world of serious coin collectors. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple in U.S. coinage since 1946, but by 1994, the mint had perfected the process of striking coins in high volumes. While billions were minted, not every single dime turned out the same. In fact, a select few left the mint with special characteristics that today make them highly sought after by numismatists and collectors across the country. If you're a coin lover or even just casually curious, listen very carefully and enjoy every moment of this video, because we're going to reveal exactly what makes the 1994 P. Roosevelt dime a hidden gem in the modern coin market. One of the key features that can make this coin valuable is the presence of mint errors, which occur during the coin's production at the U.S. Mint. These rare errors transform a common coin into a unique collectible worth thousands of dollars. The most dramatic and desirable of these is the double die obverse error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once, slightly out of alignment, causing a doubling of the design. On a 1994 P dime, you might see this in the lettering of Liberty, the phrase "In God We Trust," or the date itself. That slight but visible doubling can mean the difference between a 10-cent coin and a four-figure collectible. Another rare and stunning feature that collectors absolutely love is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not perfectly aligned during minting, leading to part of the design being pushed off the edge or visibly rotated. A significant off-center error, especially one that still shows a full date, is both visually striking and extremely valuable. Collectors prize these types of coins because they are so clearly different and stand out instantly in any collection. No two are exactly the same, making each one a true original from the mint. There are even more mint mistakes that increase this coin's worth, like clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing from the edge due to an error in cutting the metal, or die clashes, where the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, creating ghost-like images of the opposing design. There are also struck-through errors, where foreign material interferes during the strike, leaving unusual textures or marks on the coin's surface. Each of these errors makes the 1994 P dime stand out from the rest and adds to its mystique and rarity. But errors aren't the only thing that can raise the value of this coin. Condition is everything. A 1994 P dime that has been well preserved in mint state, with original luster, no scratches or signs of circulation, and sharply defined details, is already rare. When that dime also exhibits what collectors call full bands, that is, crisp horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse, it becomes even more desirable. Full bands are indicators of a strong, clean strike, and they're hard to find, especially on coins that have been in circulation. If your dime has full bands and is free of wear and damage, you could be holding something very special. Now let's talk about how the market responds to this kind of rarity. In a recent auction that caught the attention of collectors nationwide, a spectacular example of a 1994 P. Roosevelt dime was up for grabs. This coin had brilliant mint state quality, full bands, and a clear double die obverse, verified by a top grading company. The excitement in the auction room was electric. Bids came flying in from collectors and investors who recognized the coin's unique characteristics and rarity. When the dust settled, the final selling price stunned everyone watching. This seemingly ordinary dime sold for an incredible $50,000. That's right, $50,000 for a 10-cent coin that had all the right ingredients: rarity, condition, error, and collector demand. So here's your chance to make a discovery of your own. Grab a magnifying glass and start searching through your dimes, especially those from 1994 with a P mint mark. Look closely at the lettering, the date, and the reverse torch design. Are there signs of doubling? Are the bands fully struck? Is anything off-center, clipped, or unusually marked? These are the signs that you may be holding one of the rarest and most valuable Roosevelt dimes of the modern era. Especially, we're talking about the United States one-dime coin from the year 1990 with the P mint mark, a seemingly ordinary Roosevelt dime that, under the right conditions and with the right characteristics, has stunned collectors at auctions and reached an unbelievable value. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and listen closely, because what we're about to share could turn your next pocketful of change into a jackpot. The 1990 P. Roosevelt dime was minted in Philadelphia and, like most dimes of its era, was produced in large quantities. To the untrained eye, it may look like any other 10-cent coin in circulation today. But here's where things get exciting. Certain rare examples of this dime have become hot items in the collector's world, thanks to unique errors, exceptional strike quality, and pristine conditions that have pushed them into a whole new category of collectible rarity. For coin collectors and enthusiasts, this is a year and mint mark combination worth serious attention. And here's why. Let's begin with the errors, the rare minting mistakes that transform regular coins into priceless treasures. One of the most valuable errors found on the 1990 P. Roosevelt dime is the double die obverse. This error happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between strikes, causing the design elements, particularly the date 1990, the word liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust," to appear doubled. Under magnification, the doubling is clear and unmistakable, and collectors go wild for it. These errors are rare and, more importantly, they make your dimes stand out as one of a kind, an instant upgrade from pocket change to prized possession. Another incredible and highly collectible error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank coin or planchet is not perfectly centered during the strike, causing the design to appear shifted or cut off. A 1990 P dime that is off-center by 40% or more, especially one that still clearly shows the full date, can be extremely valuable. These types of errors are dramatic and easy to spot, and because they're so unusual, they draw big attention from collectors and auction houses alike. Let's not forget about clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an error during the cutting process. Or die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving behind ghost-like impressions of the opposite design. There are also struck-through errors, where grease or other debris gets between the die and the planchet, resulting in fascinating and unpredictable marks on the coin's surface. Each of these rare mint errors makes the 1990 P dime even more exciting and valuable to collectors. Of course, rarity alone isn't everything. Condition matters more than you think. Coins graded in mint state by top agencies like PCGS or NGC, especially in grades MS66 and above, are far more valuable than circulated examples. Even more desirable are those with the full bands designation, crisp, complete horizontal lines on the torch located on the reverse of the dime. These full bands indicate that the coin was struck sharply and cleanly, showing off perfect detail and craftsmanship. And for 1990 P dimes, finding one with full bands and high grade is not easy, which is exactly why they are in such high demand. Now let's bring some real-world proof into the mix. Recently, at a high-profile coin auction, an exceptional 1990 P. Roosevelt dime stunned everyone when it crossed the auction block. This particular coin featured a bold double die obverse, beautiful luster, full bands, and was graded a jaw-dropping mint state 68 by PCGS. The competition to own this rare specimen was fierce. Collectors from across the country placed bids in rapid succession, knowing how rare it is to find a coin in this condition with such dramatic and confirmed errors. When the final hammer dropped, the winning bid came in at a staggering $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, $65,000 for a single 1990 P dime. So now the big question is, Could you be holding one of these rare treasures without even knowing it? Go through your change, pull out your old coin jars, and search through those rolls of dimes. Look for any signs of doubling in the design, unusual textures, missing edges, or shifted strikes. And above all, examine the torch lines on the reverse. Those full bands can make a world of difference. If you spot something special, consider sending it off to be professionally graded, because the next dime to make headlines might be in your hand right now. Last unique coin. We are diving deep into the story of a coin that looks small but carries big secrets, the United States one-dime coin from the year 1980 with the Denver mint mark. This is not just a common piece of change. This is a coin that, under the right conditions and with the right characteristics, can be worth far more than 10 cents. In fact, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So sit back, stay focused, and enjoy this exciting journey into the world of rare U.S. coinage, because what you learn today might just lead you to uncover your own hidden treasure. The 1980 D. Roosevelt dime was minted at the Denver Mint, and like many coins of its time, it was produced in very large quantities. At first glance, this coin might seem completely ordinary. After all, it's just a modern-era dime made of copper-nickel clad, right? But here's the incredible part. Within this sea of common coins lies a very small number of rare and exceptional pieces that were struck with unusual minting errors or survived the years in absolutely perfect condition. And it's these few extraordinary examples that have captured the attention of serious collectors and sent shockwaves through the auction world. Let's begin with the rare and valuable minting errors that can transform a regular 1980 D dime into a collector's dream. One of the most highly sought after is the double die obverse error. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, causing the design to appear doubled. On a 1980 D dime, doubling can sometimes be found in the date 1980, the word liberty, or even in God we trust. Under magnification, this doubling is often clear and dramatic, and for collectors, it represents a major find. These errors are rare and are known to significantly increase the coin's value because they represent a minting flaw that few people catch. Another fascinating error to look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, that blank metal disc that becomes the coin, is not perfectly centered when struck. The result? Part of the design is cut off or shifted dramatically to one side. A 1980 D dime with a 40% to 60% off-center strike, especially one where the date remains visible, is a major rarity. These coins are visually striking, instantly identifiable, and highly prized by collectors due to their uniqueness and bold appearance. You should also be on the lookout for clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a flaw in the cutting process. These errors give the coin a bite or crescent-shaped edge, and when found on a 1980 D dime, they add incredible value. Another rare and exciting error is the die clash, where the coin dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind ghost-like impressions from the opposing die. These marks appear subtly in the background of the coin's design and are treasured for their mysterious beauty and the story they tell about the minting process. Now let's talk about something every collector values deeply: coin condition. It's not enough to simply find a coin with an error. Condition plays a massive role in its value. A 1980 D. Roosevelt dime in mint state condition, meaning it has never been circulated and retains its full original luster, is already more desirable than average. But when that coin also has what's known as full bands, meaning the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side are fully visible and clearly separated, it becomes extremely valuable. Full bands indicate a strong and precise strike, and they are rare to find on circulated coins. The combination of an error and full bands in mint state is exactly what collectors dream about. To prove just how important all these factors are, let's look at what's happened at recent coin auctions. Not long ago, a pristine example of the 1980 D. Roosevelt dime surfaced, a coin that had it all: a bold double die obverse, full brilliant luster, perfect mint state 68 condition, and full bands certification from PCGS. The excitement was immediate, and the bidding war that followed was nothing short of thrilling. Collectors from around the country jumped in, knowing they were fighting for a piece of numismatic history. When the final gavel dropped, this remarkable 1980 D-dimes sold for a jaw-dropping $60,000. That's right, $60,000 for a 10-cent coin that most people would overlook. This brings us to the most important part of today's message. What about you? Could you have a valuable 1980 D-dime sitting in a box of old change? Could a treasure be hiding right in front of you, just waiting to be discovered? Now is the perfect time to check your collection, your coin jar, or even your wallet. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to carefully examine your 1980 D-dimes. Look for doubling on the letters or date. Check for off-center strikes, clipped edges, unusual markings, or sharp details on the reverse torch. If something catches your eye, don't ignore it. It could be the key to a huge payday.